Welcome to Viben Gold, a collection of guided meditations put into podcast form for your easy listening. My name is Vivian Gerard, and I will be walking with you through the intoxicating now moments of life here on this planet. These audios are intended to be used as a full meditation if you want to close your eyes, settle down into a comfy spot, and let your subconscious come all the way forward. Or it can simply be some background conversation where the nuggets of information that you most need will make their way into your awareness. Whichever way it works for you, I invite you to open up and enjoy fully this journey of life that we are all taking together. So much love to you. Good morning and welcome to Soul Shine. We are diving right in today. So, big breath. It has been quite the morning already. Let's go ahead and allow yourself to land wherever you are today. So if you're in a chair, on the floor, in a bed, sitting outside, go ahead and pay attention to your body. So allow yourself to feel the physical restraints of the body, the size of it, the density of it, the heaviness of it. And then notice, just see if you can feel for a second, where is your energy in relation to your body? So most of us, we keep our energy up around our head, right, so that we can stay engaged and be busy and pay attention to all the things that are going on around us. And so what it looks like to me often is there is a ton of swirly motion moving around the top halves of people, usually heads, but sometimes down a little lower. And then we get really disconnected from the bottom. So in this moment, go ahead and just tap your legs, wiggle your toes, let yourself feel the lower half of your body. You might want to tap your feet if you're sitting in a chair, kind of stomp them on the floor. And let's start by imagining that your bottom half of your body can get heavier and denser. So we're going to bring the energy down and in. And there's lots of ways that you can do it. But for today, we're going to play with, what if you imagine that your feet can become like rocks? Like if you were standing, think of a good example. If you were standing by a volcano, right, you know the base of the volcano has to be strong enough that it can hold that space while all the lava would shoot up from the bottom and come out the top. So the base of that volcano has to be so steady and grounded and connected to the earth to withstand the pressure of that volcano erupting. So imagine that your feet can match the density, the heaviness, the sturdiness, the connection to the earth of the base of a volcano. So just feel, if I were just to imagine that in my feet, what would that feel like in your body? Yeah, what I notice for me is it has a gravity to it, it has a pull to it. And so I can feel that my attention wants to go down and, be closer to the base. So imagine you can just allow your energy to start coming in from the top of your head or wherever it has been and slide down like the inside of a volcano, reversed. Slide down to the base of your feet so that we can gather our strength, we can gather our focus down at the bottom of us instead of up here at the top where it's off balance, right? We're further away from the earth. It's more flying back and forth to try connect in and walk and take care of this physical body. So if you bring all the energy down, it makes more sense, right? The bottom half of your body is wider and more stable than the top of your head. So use your breath like the reverse of a volcano, where the breath erupts out. For right now, imagine you can use your breath to force the energy down.
and let it be playful, right? I've never actually seen a volcano erupt. I've been near one where there's steam coming out the top, but I can imagine the power, the force of all of that. Give yourself that same recognition, right? You have this power of creativity and energy, and what if you were to allow it to all come all the way down to your feet, right? You'd be pretty badass. So imagine you can just feel all that energy coming down, 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 down. Use your breath and let your energy settle into the lower half of your body. And then start to relax. So relax your shoulders, relax your head, maybe wiggle your head. You can turn your neck around, loosen up the top half that tries to hold it all together all the time. And feel the power redistributing down. Good. And then imagine right at the center of you, at your belly button, right at your core solar plexus, that little signal can start to go out that says, all of my energy that I've been handing over today, yesterday, last week, last month, my whole life, I'm calling that power, that energy, that essence, that spirit that is me back into me. You don't even have to know where it's coming from. Just feel as you send out this signal that has your soul name on it, all those parts of you know that it's time to come home. It's time to come back. And as they arrive, you can wiggle and twist, a little bit in your body, oh, there's some from that person I forgot about. There's some from that job that I thought I left behind 10 years ago. You don't even need to know, but as your power, as your energy, as you come back into you, let it just be fun and easy, right? Just an arrival, when you go to your favorite friend's house and everyone's greeting each other and there's hugs and kisses, greet the parts of you in that way with this welcoming, right? You've been gone a while. It's good to have you home. It's good to have you back. And see if you can give yourself a number. So this is a new way to play perhaps for you, but if you were to have a little barometer or a measuring tool, kind of like when you measure the temperature outside, your body knows what its internal temperature is automatically, and then it adjusts when you go outside. So if it's too hot, you can self-cool. If it's too cold, you can self-warm or dress appropriately. It's the same thing with your energy. Your body knows, your system knows when 100% is here. So allow your body to flash a number at you. This is the percentage of how present you are in this moment, right? And trust, whatever that number is, it's not wrong. Just see the number and go, oh, interesting. So that's how present I normally am in a day. Huh, how do I feel about that? Right? Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, I don't know, but just notice it. And then perhaps turn the dial up and allow more back in. Yeah, and then settle it all down again, right? It's okay. We forget, how much power we have. There's this movie, Lucy, that has just been on my mind so much the last few weeks, and I think it's because of this example. In the movie, this woman ends up unknowingly having these drugs put inside of her body that end up activating the brain to 100% full activity, full potential, which obviously no one has ever had before in human form. And so they were tracking what happens to her from 0 to 100% and how her focus, her abilities, her power, her strength, the creation of her mind transforms everything in her life, and also how scary that journey was for her to own that power. I won't ruin the end of the movie, but it's an awesome watch. If you haven't seen it yet, just get over the violence in the beginning of the movie. But I feel that for all of us, when we don't recognize how our current level is feeling and functioning of being fully here, energy in physical form, then we forget the potential if we were to actually reach 100%. And so we play here in meditation space, we play with what if more of me comes back in, even if it's just for 5 minutes, 1 minute, even if it's just for the hour. What does it feel like when I remember all of who I am, or more of who I am? Yep, and then send that energy down to your feet. Let your whole system stabilize. And let's do one more calling in. So whatever your number was, add a little more, whatever feels comfortable. And call yourself back here from wherever you have been. Use your breath, settle your body, and then relax the shoulders, the arms, the back, the neck that goes into its old pattern, right, of trying to hold it together, trying to sit up straight, trying to make sure we have this whole thing figured out. Just let your system relax and unwind, and send the energy down again to your feet. Yeah, so that number, see if you can just feel that again for a moment, right? Where you started and then where you are now, and how quickly you were able to shift that. And then just notice, how does my body feel when I'm more present? If it's too intense, back the number down a little bit. Right? Does it feel more empowering or less empowering? Does it feel comfortable or uncomfortable? All right, you're just being with this new fullness of yourself. And sometimes that just takes a little adjusting to it. Right? Let's not take ourselves so seriously. We're just playing with energy on a phone call, and it's super cool and super fun. Right? Just kind of feel this is an interesting aspect of me. Good job. Good job. My invitation is to play with this during the week. Don't wait until just Sundays, right? Play with it during the week and let it be playful and silly and interesting and like a science experiment in 8th grade, right? You're going to take notes and you're going to see which parts feel good and you're going to make adjustments to the experiment and you're going to have hypotheses, and it's a way to see the potential of yourself for yourself without handing your power over to anyone else. You get to start feeling and tracking the changes you can make in your own space. You become the guide of your own space. You become the guru. Okay, so let's ground. Let's ground our energy this morning. So as you have your feet attached like the base of a volcano and you're filled up inside, go ahead and imagine those feet can open up at the bottom and they can start to grow whatever feels good to you. Roots, they can send lights down. They can have cords if you would like. I'm not a big fan of artificial things. I would probably go more for roots, but whatever sort of connection feels good to you. Imagine you can open your feet up and you can just start to have little tendrils that go down or little bits of light. It's like mining, right? When I grew up, we were in South Africa, and my dad told me, I don't know if I've mentioned this already, but my dad told me that he went down into a diamond mine 2 miles down. And when I picture that, I picture how dark and deep in the earth you are going. So in this moment, sometimes it feels, when I say root in or ground in or connect into the earth, it's like dense or uncomfortable, or perhaps the ground feels kind of hard, right? So shift the visual so that you are feeling like the earth is inviting you in. So maybe your visual is like moss on the grass or in the forest, and it's soft, right? And it's that beautiful, inviting, deep green or lime green, and you could like stroke your fingers on the top of it. It's so soft. And of course, if your feet were resting on that, you would want the roots to just go and soak into that beautiful space. Right? So imagine that the connection that you're sending down, you're thrilled to be making that connection with the earth in whatever visual feels right to you. And then just go perhaps a foot down or 2 feet down. And then have the roots start to go sideways, so maybe 1 or 2 feet wide. And then maybe they start dancing and they're down another 1 or 2 feet into the earth. I'll give you another visual. This might be helpful. So we have 4 plants or bushes that we got as a gift, and they're beautiful. They're hydrangeas, but we have been busy and we haven't been taking care of them. And so yesterday I was looking out the door, and they're brown. And they're in their little containers, and I can just tell the roots have no more room to grow. And so I said, today I'm planting them. So I went and I spaced them out in the front garden, and I dug up a hole, and the first 3 were pretty healthy. I'm like, yeah, these are fine. They're going to make it, right? So I just kind of broke the roots up, and I put them in the ground. I put some good soil around it, and I patted it down and moved on, and I got to the last one. And the last one, the entire plant was brown, and the roots the container must have been holding water and not soaking it out the bottom. So the roots were like soggy, and it looked like they'd almost died, at the bottom. They were all smelly. And so I looked at the plant, and I'm like, do we throw you away or do we give you a shot? I'm like, we're going to give you a shot. So I talked to the plant the whole time that I was planting it. And I remember my mom doing this when I was little, and I thought it was so funny. But I'm like, why not? We'll give it a chance. And so I created a space in the ground, and I put lots of good soil at the bottom, and I got the roots all broken up and separated. And then I put the plant into the ground, and I patted more dirt around it. And then I just offered to the plant, right? It's your choice now. You can choose to dig in, or you can choose to not. And so I offer that to you also, right? I can't ground for you. You choose to ground. You choose to ground, and you choose to ground as deep as feels comfortable to you. So what I can do is bring you here to the edge of the surface of the earth, help you come into your body, and then you choose, right? Do I want to connect to this earth on which I am walking? And if so, how much connection do I want to allow my body to receive? So for those of you who struggle with money or health or have blocks in your receiving in relationships, or blocks in your receiving in promotions at work, right, or love from your children, grounding is where you start. It's where you can start if you want. You can look at how much do I allow my own system, my own energy, to connect into this earth on which I have chosen as a soul to come walk. So if you're floating along the top and you never ground, odds are you're receiving maybe matching that, right? It's just a theory. I don't know. We'll see if it's true or not. But if I were to practice grounding deeper, just play for a moment. What if you grounded 10 feet down underneath the surface of the earth? Right? See what your body does. What does it start to say to you? Some of you may have gone right back up to your head, right? Like, no, don't do that. If so, that's okay. Just notice. Notice what your pattern is. And then you can play with changing it if you want when you're in your own meditation. Like, okay, 10 feet, way too fast, way too deep. We're going to start with 1 foot. Start with 6 inches, right? Like, whatever feels right. Just start where you are. But see if you can allow yourself to go a little deeper. And if you can practice this every day or every few days or every week, if you can practice, let me connect into the earth, sending my roots down, and then spreading them wide so I have a web underneath me. The potential is now there. So you can just hang, you can just stay here, or you can say, I am rooted in to this earth, so I am going to release the blocks that I have been holding. I'm going to release the energetic stuck places and just let them move through me, down through the connection of my feet, and into the earth. And then energy just moves through you. There's no need for a bottleneck. There's no need for illness. There's no need for financial blocks, love blocks, right? It's just energy that moves, and use is the wrong word. You partner with the earth to just release energy. I say this on probably every call that I have, but the earth is craving that partnership from humans. Right? We are, I can tell I'm getting on my soapbox, I'm going to do it anyway. We are one earth, literally. We are one community. We are one ecosystem, which is water, air, human, earth, and all of that, sun, right? It all partners to create this system of life. And when we try to control or manage or manipulate parts of the system, we block the flow. And we do it in our own bodies, but we also do it in this partnership with the earth. And if we could all just relax, right? Quit holding on so tight. If we could just relax and allow energy to move and move through us and into the earth. She already knows, the earth already knows what's coming next and what the heartbeat of the earth is going to be creating. We think we're so wise, but, the weather patterns, the system of life of this planet is self-correcting. We just need to learn to trust that and surrender and hand over the stuck places in ourselves. So in this moment, if you're feeling blocks in your body, send it down to your feet, down and out into the earth. If you've been moving energy while I've been talking, notice any other places that have a little contraction or a little tightness. Send your breath to that place. And then just move the energy through. Good. And then let's find your place of center from this releasing and connecting with the earth. So I do this in my meditation. I've been doing it better, but it takes awareness, right? So I bring it to you. When you are sitting in your meditation space, so right in this moment, notice how your body is sitting. So, for example, are you straight up and down, or do you lean to the left, or do you lean to the right? For some of us who love to get into other people's spaces, which is me, I find that I tend to lean forward in my meditation instead of sitting straight up. So notice your body posture. And then see if you can play with, if I balance in a different way, is there a way to be more steady in how I sit? Is there a way to be aligned where I am centered so I can feel Source, God, Creator, right, is right above me, if you're doing that visual, right above me. And there's an energetic line you can almost draw that goes straight through the center of your crown, down the center of your nose, your body, straight through to the center of your belly button, your solar plexus, and then straight down through your hips, your root chakra, and down into the earth. If you're laying down, this visual might feel all weird, so you can play with it another time. Or you can just visualize, if you're laying flat, you can visualize that line just goes from above your solar plexus, straight down through your solar plexus, through into the earth underneath you. Why is that important? Because when our physical body is leaning or turning or grabbing, the energy is going to follow that motion, that momentum, right? And so if we can, in our meditation, just practice or feel centered balance, you start to feel your own power in a different way, right? I was playing with this on Friday, and I noticed, like, when I really held myself straight and centered, my shoulders went back, and I could feel, like, my rib cage open up and my heart open up, and my solar plexus felt stronger, like this is my space, this is my knowing. So just play with it for a moment, just feel. What does your center feel like if no one else is in your space and you've pulled all this energy back into you from where you've left it? And you can feel the earth like caressing the bottom of you, going, I know, I'm right here. I'm right here. Remember when you were a child and you used to dig in the mud and splash in the puddles and run around on me, and then you got all serious and decided to stay inside buildings and put on air conditioning and heat? And you forgot how much fun the earth can be. Feel your center in this moment. See if you can find the center spot of that center. So if you're looking at your solar plexus, is there a balance point, a fulcrum? I don't know what you would call it. There's that measuring stick that you use when you're trying to make sure you have a straight line and you're building something, and it's got the little yellow liquid and the marker, and then you try to balance it so the thing is centered. Imagine you can kind of do that with yourself. I need to sit up a little straighter as I say that. Use your breath. Yeah, and then find your center spot. See what size it feels like to you. So maybe it's the size of a penny. Maybe it's a pea. And then just for fun, right, because we're here and we can do this, what if you could expand the center of you? So make it a little bigger. Like if it's a penny, maybe make it the size of a quarter, and then just stabilize your body around that. And if you made it a quarter, maybe you make it the size of, I don't know, like a lime. Yeah, you know what's so cool, at least it looks this way to me, the bigger your core becomes, the bigger your center becomes, I find the easier it is to balance, right? When it's little and it's that tiny little dot, you're trying to like settle everything around it. When it gets bigger, it's like, oh yeah, I can totally see and feel how that would need to be stabilized. So what if you make the lime, maybe we'll jump. What if we go to an orange? And that's your center, in the center of your solar plexus, in the center of your body. Yeah, way easier to balance, right? Like, no big deal. You just sort of hold it. We'll do one more. What if you go to the size of like a small cantaloupe, right, a melon? So maybe it takes up most of your physical body space. Maybe it's like most of your stomach and the insides of your belly, right? No judgment. We're just looking at if you have your center inside of you, is it easier to balance when it gets bigger? All right, and then here's a little fun play. By you doing that, did you hurt or impact anyone else that's on this call right now? I know, is that so cool? I know, it doesn't hurt anyone, right? Like, it doesn't hurt anybody for you to have more strength, more balance, more power. It's just you. It's just you playing in your space. It doesn't do anything to any of us. What it feels like to me is like the container gets steadier, right? As we balance this bigger version of ourselves, it's like the whole group kind of goes, right? Like more connected and more grounded. Where before I'm trying to find the balance with all these different energies, and there's little central tiny P's inside each person, and we're trying to see who's got a balance to find the P. All right, so a fun exercise for you to play with this week, right? What if I allowed my center, my balance inside of me to grow? Yeah, and, one of the questions I can feel is, well, what's inside? Right, if we go from a pea to a cantaloupe, like, what's inside of that space? I don't know. That's the fun, right? Like, that's the exploration, is what do you want to fill the center of you up with? So it can be whatever you want it to be, right? You can fill it up with joy and laughter and play. You can fill it up with lots of stories and goals and expectations and assignments and tasks. You can fill it up with a balance, a mix of those. You can fill it up with wisdom, reading, understanding, love, whatever you want to put inside of it. But if you're bringing your attention to that solar plexus and how much balance and center you give yourself, and you allow it to grow, now you're in the driver's seat, right? Now you're consciously creating who you are, who you're becoming, what your time is spent on, what your love supports, what your money supports. It becomes you in the driver's seat of your journey. So, we'll come back to that, I think, in a moment. But for right now, let's imagine Source can take on the physical form of someone you love and adore, and they can sit right in front of you. Yeah, we need some backstory here. Okay, so if Source is the original creator of all life, right, all breath, then the logical conclusion is there's Source inside each person, right? Like breath comes from Source, so you must have Source to have breath, right? Every baby that's born, when they breathe, that first breath, it comes from somewhere. So it comes from whatever name you want to give that energy, God, Creator, Love, One, Universe, it's all the same. It's one original place where it begins. So if Source is in you, then Source is also in every single person you know and don't know and ever lived and ever will live. It's a little bit of a mind boggle. But if you were to invite Source to sit across from you, why couldn't Source be your best friend? or your partner or your child or your parent or your cat, right? Your dog, your bird. Source could literally take on any form because all of those have breath. So in this moment, pick one, anyone, it doesn't make a difference. And invite Source in that form to sit across from you. And then we're just going to play here for a moment because I'm in this super playful mood today and full of giggles. All right, so what I find amazing is how we talk to ourselves and the things that we say. And I invite you to think of a conversation you had with yourself today or yesterday that was not so nice. So I used the word crazy this morning, like maybe I'm crazy, right? So what I want you to visualize is there's Source in you and there's also Source in that person across from you. So whatever you said to yourself really would be true about them because we're all one, right? So let's imagine that person or thing or animal that you, not a thing, person or animal that you love so much that you put in front of you and said you represent Source. I want you to take some of the words that you used on yourself this morning and turn it around and imagine that you would say it to that person or animal that you love. And watch what happens. I want you to visualize it just for a moment. It's just an exercise. Say that thing that you said to yourself to that person across from you that you love, like you meant it when you said it to yourself. And watch, feel what happens to them. They shrink, right? Perhaps they lean back, pull back, or perhaps they cry. Perhaps they get mad, right? But notice, like, the reaction, the damage that these careless words that we use on ourselves can do to somebody else. And then I want you to imagine that that person can understand, or animal can understand, oh, wait, it was just an exercise. Whew, they didn't really mean that about me. So I'm going to take that word or thing that they said and wrap all that energy up in a little ball. And I'm going to put sea salt water all around it and dissolve it because that's what gets rid of evil things, right, is sea salt water. I'm going to dissolve that energy. And I'm going to turn, that Source person across from you is going to turn to you and say, nope, not true. Not true about me, not true about you. I know, right? But I know it's true about me. I mean, I get that it's not true about you, but of course it's true about me. Nope. Because we're all one. We're all one energy. So if I say it about me and I say it about you and we all say it about each other, we're perpetuating this belief that comes from fear, shadow, falsehoods, I don't know, stories, patterns, past lives, parallel lives. All these things come from somewhere, but they're not true. So in this moment, imagine the aspect of Source inside that person can get bigger, just like we were playing with growing our solar plexus and making it bigger. Imagine the love of that first breath, the excitement, the passion for life of that first breath can expand in that person across from you. It can get bigger. Just witness, right? Like, watch how in them it can expand. Love grows. Breath expands. Healing can happen as you just watch that person in front of you. And then see them take that gift, that love, whatever it was that grew inside of them, take it and offer it to you. This is source love, which ultimately I believe is self-love. And then just like you did with, grounding into the earth, notice your ability to receive. So if you're pushing it away, you're saying, no, I can't take that. I don't want to be loved. I can't receive something that beautiful. That's not for me. That's for somebody else. You can do that if you want, but why? Why? It's so beautiful, and love creates more love. What would stop you from receiving that? So again, right, I can't force that choice for you. I can put you in this visualization process where you can see it, where there's an energy, where there's a feeling, and then you choose. You choose. Do I want to allow that love to come into my body and see what it does? See what it does. What if? You just sit here and, resist if you want. But what if that love comes into your body and it's like little fizzles and fireworks, right? And it just comes in and it starts to go pop, 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 all through the inside of your body, and it wakes up, your elbow. And your elbow starts doing a dance that it hasn't done in a long time. And what if it goes all the way down to your little toe, and suddenly your little toe is dancing, and it hasn't tapped like that in years, but now it's awake. It's awake. It has energy moving in it because you received from Source something that you've been resisting and pushing away. What if that gift from Source comes in and it goes right to your heart space? And again, this is a what if, right? I'm not forcing this on anyone. But if it comes in and it's like the softest of whispers or lotions or a mist, right? Right before this call, I sprayed myself with self-love mist. How perfect. I just thought of that. But it's made by my beautiful friend Andrea, and it has all these fragrances in it. And so when I spray it, I feel the physical of the mist hitting my skin, so there's a physical touch. And then my senses, my nose, picks up the fragrances that my soul remembers, right? Like that was the time where my mom hugged me, or that was the time where I was playing outside and it smelled like sea salt because we were at the ocean, right? And so my heart can just go, oh, I remember what it feels like to be happy and to be playful and to be a child and to love myself. And if this lifetime has been so hard that you don't remember that time at all in your life, your soul will remember the moments of bliss and joy from other dimensions, other lifetimes. So what if that mist comes in and soothes the heart that has been hurt, or frozen, or padlocked, or barricaded? In energy work, it's amazing how many ways people find to block the heart. It is amazing, right? We are so creative at how we don't let people get anywhere near that thing that we call the heart. But it's the most powerful. Well, is that true? Yeah, it feels like it's the most powerful organ in the body, right? It's where breath originates or moves through. So you don't have to do anything with your heart, but your invitation today or in your meditation time, when you're just sitting in the sunshine perhaps, or when you're closing your eyes to go to sleep at night, your invitation is, what if I allow this memory of Source love to just wake up my heart a little bit, or soothe the wounds of the heart just a little bit. If you can see it from where I sit, if every human on this planet brought their attention to their heart once a day for a minute, just to do this, right? A little self-love. Can you imagine the miracles that would ripple across our world? One tiny little focus on the heart. One soul at a time. Yeah, and really, all you can control is yourself, right? Your own experience. You can't do it for anyone or to anyone, which is what I am modeling here for you. I can bring you to the edge of it, and then your choice allows you the experience that your soul is going to create, that your human body is going to create. All right, ground yourself in again. Feel your feet hooking into the earth. Let your energy drop lower down, down, down to the bottom half of your body again. When we come near the heart, sometimes everything locks up and the energy goes straight back up to the mind. All right, don't come near that thing. Don't come near that thing, but hand me that baby over there, and I'll hold that cute little baby and coo at that one for a while, right? Give yourself that love in your own quiet space that you would just ooze all over a newborn baby or puppy or kitty cat. Perhaps give that to yourself sometime today or this week. Okay. Whew. Today's a no agenda day. Man, those are fun. All right. What I woke up with this morning as a theme, and it's already playing out so beautifully, is this idea of how do we manage our own truth or verify or validate what our own truth is? What tools, what practices do we have so that we can know when we say, I'm centered, that yes, I am centered. When we say, I know I'm in my body, yes, I know I'm in my body, or nope, not even close, right? Like, I don't think so. I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, but I was reading an article about past lives, and this person, it's in a book. It was when I was on vacation, and this guy who was writing the book said, I was researching past lives and reincarnation, and he said, I went to see this psychic, and she proceeded to sit across from me and tell me the 10 different lives I'd had, and, he listed them all out. And he said, and I sat across from her and didn't feel anything. And what I walked away from at the end of that is this belief that her imagination was awesome, right? Like she had these great lives and she rattled out all these awesome details, but there was no connection between my soul, my memory, and those lives that she was sharing with me. And that struck me, right? Because there is such a, I want to say responsibility, but it really is on both sides, right? There's such an exchange, perhaps, that happens. So when someone goes to someone else and says, tell me what to do, tell me what you know, give me the answers, give me the path, tell me the next step, there's a responsibility on the person who's giving that information to be truthful and to do what's in the highest potential, I believe, of that person asking. But there's also this responsibility of the one who is asking, right? We've all done this. Like, I've done it many, many times in my life, right? I'm going to give up my power and hand it to you. So tell me what to do, right? Or do it for me. That's even easier. He doesn't do it for me, and I'll just show up. But if you tell me what to do, then when it doesn't go the way I want, perhaps I can blame that person, right? Or I can hand over the disappointment. It must be because they gave me bad advice. And what I am finding for myself, and what I want to really have us explore for a few minutes together, is this self-responsibility, or it's bigger than that. It's like this ownership, this claiming for yourself of how you're going to navigate, how you're going to discern, how you're going to make choices, what experiences you're going to allow in for yourself. So I'll tell you right now, I'm going to screw up. I guarantee there will be pieces of information or practices that I'll suggest, and will I have them totally figured out? No, they're coming through my filters, through my life experiences, through what my soul has created in this lifetime and other lifetimes. So all I can commit to is showing up as clear as possible, always following my own practices and meditating and asking friends and family to hold me honest and accountable. Right? I can do my best to keep myself balanced and centered. But in this journey of life, in this soul journey, in this weekly experience of soul shine, in your everyday experience at work, in relationship, in your health, in your money, and everything, we each have to find our own center, our own practices, our own knowing, and then develop a deeper and deeper trust of that. So what I see often is, we hand our power over to a public speaker, to God, politics right now, right? We hand our power over to these politicians. We hand our power over to psychics. We hand our power over to coaches. We hand our power over to anyone who will help us figure it out or guide us on a path. And my invitation is, start noticing where, when, how you do that. And if you notice, little by little, you'll just start gathering that power, that center, that balance back. And then it just becomes easier. And then when you get off, you feel it so quickly, right? You feel it so quickly, and you're like, something is not right. And if you have a trusted group of advisors around you, you can go, hand in the air here, folks. Like, something is way off. Like, what am I going to do? And, right, we support each other. So we have this Soul Shine Facebook tribe, this community that you can step into if you're not in it yet. And it is a place where you can bring your off-centered, off-balanced questions and go, can someone reflect to me what's happening here? Don't save me. Right? I say that to my friends all the time. Don't save me. I know I'm good. But just remind me again who I am. Remind me what my centered place looked like when I got off balance. Remind me so I can go back and find it again. Remind me what my practices are, because I think I've slipped off track. Right? When I went on vacation for a week, I did the basics of meditation, but it was light. It was the fast track version of meditation. And, when I got home, I knew it. Like, things were messy. And it was so good because shifts could come up. I could sit with things in a new way and clear them in a new way. So, again, I feel like I'm on a soapbox, but part of my wish, I guess, part of my wish for you is that we lose the judgment about it. When we get off track, it's, I'm off track. I'm going to come back, find my center again, rebalance, ground myself into the earth, choose if I want to hand over or hang on to what's stuck. And then play with, what am I creating inside of myself? I'm going to look at the voice that I use in my head that reprimands me or shames me or judges me. And I'm going to imagine if I said that to someone else, how would they react? I'm not going to speak to my soul in that way anymore, right? And this I feel like I can promise you, the more that we do that, each of us, the faster this world is going to shift, because it ripples out. Love ripples out, healing ripples out. Positive emotions are so much more powerful than the negative, even when it looks like the opposite is true. Because people will pull out that compliment that you gave them when it was authentic, and they'll go, oh no, I know, I remember when someone told me that I was really calm and steady, so even though right now I feel like my world's falling apart, I know I'm calm and steady because they told me that, and I know they meant it. I felt that they meant it. So when you get quiet and you ground and you bring your energy from your mind down into your body, your heart, your soul can start to pull out those positive moments, those, I'm sure there's a Sanskrit word for it, but those little nuggets, those gifts. And perhaps that is what we start putting into our solar plexus, and we expand that. All right, that was a lot. That was a lot. So let's just take a moment and let our systems integrate all of that before we rush off into a busy day. Or perhaps we roll back over and go to sleep. I want you to feel your feet again. Let's go back to the beginning. Feel your feet. Maybe you stomp them. Maybe you just wiggle them. Maybe just for fun, you send some love to your feet. You're like, oh, even if you're not super cute and I haven't painted my toenails and you're a little dry around the edges, you're pretty incredible because you let me walk and run and move. All right, so send the energy down to your feet. Anything that has come up in you that feels like it could create a block or is already creating a block, or there's something I said that you want to hang on to and like beat yourself up for, judge or evaluate me for, what if you could just let it be energy that moves? That's all this is, energy, right? What if it can just move from wherever you feel it wanting to stick? And you use your breath and you just breathe it out your feet into the earth, right? So it might sound like this. I know, is that so cool? What if you can do that? What if you can just play with your breath in a way that you might have when you were a little girl or a little boy, right? What if you feel the power of it and you just move the stuck stuff out, if you want. And you can visualize. So you can visualize the breath going from the top of your head, almost like source perhaps, breathes through your head and just, right, like sends it down the inside of your body, all the way through to your hips, your legs, and then straight down and out into the earth. And just like that, energy moves. Just like that, an old story shifts, right? We don't have to hold on to any of it if we just bring our awareness and our intention and say, move it. Actually, I have to share this quick story. One of my clients and I were on the phone this week, and she has been doing some beautiful work of letting go of some stuck places. And she has a little girl who's 1.5, and we were on the phone, and we were doing serious work. We were clearing stuff, and we were working on forgiveness statements. And I said, it's so beautiful. It's like an onion, like you're peeling the layers back, and as you let one layer go, and then next we'll be ready to let go, and it's going to be so beautiful. And we were so proud of ourselves doing this work. And her little daughter, who can't speak, is giggling and playing and banging things. And right as I was talking about the layers of the onions and letting it go, her daughter comes over, and she must have had a little playbook from Frozen. And all of a sudden, this voice starts singing, "Let it go, let it go." And her daughter's laughing, and we fell over laughing. We're like, for a little one with no voice, she knew exactly what was happening. And she brought her playful energy in. We have so much to learn from this next generation of children. They are wise beyond we understand. Yeah, so that's what we got for today. Oh, have a beautiful day. I am sending so much love from my heart to each of you.